Can we get?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Cool. And I was reading that you guys got your name using the first letters of your names, but then I was kind of confused because that doesn't really spell Betcha.
Well, Doobie's birth name is Taylor, but over the years it's just turned into Doobie.
Okay.
And I guess it could have been Betcha, but
Betcha? That would have been interesting.
Yeah, you're right.
But Betcha was more of a so
But
B from T from Taylor and CHA from Chase and Charlie.
Ah, okay, I got it. So I was looking for the A, and I was trying to kind of figure out how you guys did the spelling. But
We have a missing fifth member, actually.
Andy?
Yeah.
right on. Cool, guys. Well, again, thanks for doing this. Our podcast is all about your journey in the music industry and how you guys got to where you are today. You know, signed to Atlantic, and yeah.
For sure.
So,
yeah, happy to be
cool.
here.
So I did read that you guys all met where in college.
Yeah, at Belmont in Nashville, Belmont University.
Are you all from Nashville originally?
No, I'm from Kentucky.
St. Louis.
I'm from Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
And Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow. So you're all from totally different parts of the United States.
We met at Belmont and we studied music business, like all four of us. And we were like, being in a band is way cooler than studying music business.
Yeah, totally. So you guys were all going to school at Belmont, and you just all met up in your major, your classes or something?
So it kind of just like basically every year we just added another member, but it just kind of started as Ben and I, the guitar player, and me. We just kind of had heard about each other through like word of mouth, and just freshmen at Belmont especially is such a big music school. It's just like everyone trying to like jam with each other and seeing like who's doing what, and like, you know, different like musical genre and like influences are all like getting together. So I love bands, and I like grew up loving rock bands, and Ben was also in the same boat. And so it just kind of narrowed that in, and then we just really clicked and started writing. And then a year later we added Doobie on bass, and then a year after that we added Chase on drums, until there were some other guys in the mix in between, but that was when it all kind of came together, the four of us.
Right on. Well, Charlie, how'd you get into music originally? Wait, where were you from? You said Kentucky?
I'm from Kentucky, yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, so like I was actually like a big like more of an athlete all through like middle school and high school, and then but I just always loved music so much and was like always drawn to it, and was like into all these bands, and like always was kind of up on like the newest indie bands and like big into these artists. And then sophomore year of high school, when I just kind of lost a lot of enjoyment for the sports I was playing, I was like, I want to dive into guitar and like songwriting and see what this is all about. And then like overnight it just became like my new obsession, and fell in love with it, and didn't really know I wanted to be in a band until I got to Belmont, because I was from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and it's just a super dope, you know, it's a smaller town, but there weren't as many people to collaborate with, especially just getting started. And then just writing songs. And then, like I said, once I kind of got together with Ben, that's when it took more of like a singer-songwriter, and went into like trying to write with a band in mind, and like with drums and all these different parts around it. So
in high school, did you ever play in a band, or you were just jamming by yourself?
No, I mean, me and my buddies kind of messed around. I mean, a couple guys would just mess around, and like there, like in high school, the big thing was to have like farm parties on the weekend. Like, so we'd like, there'd be some huge bonfire, and like all these high school people, like, you know, 30 minutes outside of town on some dude's farm. And like a couple times we'd like bring out our, like a speaker, and like, I mean, it was probably the worst sounding mix. Performed on like an old wagon to a bunch of drunk, you know, 16-year-olds. But
I'd love to see that set list.
Yeah. Was it just cover songs?
It's all right. Was it original?
I mean, I was writing some stuff, but I wasn't playing it at
Okay.
Yeah,
the
it was
farm
just
parties.
Saying
yeah.
Cage the Elephant covers or something.
No.
Yeah, Cage the Elephant's the one from Bowling Green, Kentucky, right?
Yeah, they went to
Okay.
my middle school. Yeah.
Did they really? Wow. Is that like the big, like, do people always look at them as like the claim to fame kind of
Oh,
from
yeah.
your area?
Like royalty, especially in Bowling Green, Kentucky, because it's a pretty smaller place. But like Tid Balls is the venue there that we played a couple times, and like they've made that like a historical landmark. I mean, it's just like, yeah, Bowling Green. I mean, Cage is just, they're like kings there.
Yeah. Were you a fan of theirs before they really blew up? Did
Oh,
you ever
yeah.
get a chance to see? You got a chance to see them and stuff?
Yeah, I remember even like when they first like got on the radio. It was just, I mean, I was probably in like middle school,
Mhm.
if anything, and it was just like, I feel like for me it was like they were so dope, and like Ain't No Rest for the Wicked was like already huge, but I think I was like too young to understand. Like for me, it's like, oh, this is this dope band, and not like, oh, holy crap, like it's a really hard thing to like blow up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. All right, Taylor, what do you go by, Doobie?
Yeah, whatever you want to call me. I'll roll with it.
His name is Dude.
I've gone through like 10 nicknames already, so we'll just keep it going. Yeah.
Doobie. All right, I'll go with that one. Tell me about where you grew up and how'd you get into music?
Yeah, so I grew up in St. Louis. I started out kind of the normal route of like taking lessons. Like I actually started out taking like classical piano lessons.
Okay.
But I hated my teacher, actually. I hope she doesn't listen to this. But it was just a little too intense at a young age. And so then I actually switched over to taking drum lessons, and then just kind of like eventually got into high school and actually started a band in high school that we would play at like, there's like a yearly like, battle of the bands at our big auditorium, and like we'd go play like other girls' schools, carnivals, and play birthday parties and stuff like that. So that was kind of, I guess, the training grounds for Betcha. Got to learn like the ins and outs of being in a band. But then, college hits, and it's hard to explain to your parents that you want to be in a band. So just like, I think came to Nashville just looking to like, eventually for something to happen. But kind of in the back of my mind, like, all right, like, I want to meet people and just kind of like, just see what sort of scene is here. And then eventually just ended up meeting all these guys through like mutual friends and stuff like that. And now we're here.
Yeah. Did you guys all move to Nashville to pursue songwriting or pursue music? Is that why you chose there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about Belmont too is like, for the most part, all the people who are like music majors, like actually like go in and like study their selected, like it's so rigorous and like so time consuming that at least in our experience, like all those people like didn't even have time to be in bands or like do anything outside of like this, whatever, their concerts and all that sort of school. So like, I feel like all the bands for us, mainly like when I was at Belmont, like most of them were music business or like entertainment studies or some other major, and a lot of my friends who were music majors at Belmont all just like ended up dropping it after like a year or 2 years. It's like, this is like so overwhelming.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a lot of work when you're out there. Ben, how'd you get into music?
Dude, well, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so I started playing Zydeco music actually.
Oh, interesting.
I was really into the blues and everything. Like I was like, my first love was John Mayer. Like I've been obsessed with John Mayer since I could play the guitar, which was like 12 years old when I picked it up.
Was that the first instrument you learned how to play guitar?
Yeah, first instrument. And I loved it. And then I went to like an after school program where they like, basically they put you in bands. Like,
oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't like know kids in my high school that played like in bands and stuff. So we played Zydeco music, blues. I played the New Orleans Jazz Festival whenever I was like 13.
Uh-huh. Wow.
I mean, it was chill. It was dope, but like, yeah, definitely a lot of like really rootsy Baton Rouge, like Louisiana influences.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Chase? Where'd you grow up and how'd you get into music?
So I actually initially grew up in California.
Where? What part? That's where I'm at.
Northern Bay Area, like San Jose, basically.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, mom made me and my siblings take piano lessons, like, kindergarten, whatever.
Mhm.
And then I was just always into, my parents always played cool classic rock and like oldie shit. So, and being in that part of the country, like Green Day, huge Bay Area.
Totally.
Like,
Rancid and
American
Up Ivy.
2004, I think. And that was like me and all my friends' favorite album, like favorite thing ever. And I just thought drums were like the most badass shit. And so, yeah, parents got me like a little electric kit, started playing, got really into jazz in high school, and then was just like playing in like rock bands on the side. And then, yeah, just came to Belmont, studied music business, played with like everybody that needed a drummer pretty much.
He was like the auxiliary drummer guy. He was like in every.
Yeah, I was playing with everybody, and then these guys were looking for a new drummer at the same time. I was kind of like having a lot more time on my hands, so I was kind of fell into place. Yeah,
It must be. It's nice to be a drummer, I'm sure, because you're like always needed. I feel like everyone can play guitar, and then like 90% of drummers are great at guitar too. But I feel like the drummer is always the missing link. Like if you're a drummer, you're probably playing with like 12 bands just because you can.
Yeah, going to like different rehearsals for sure.
Yeah.
Every time.
So you guys started with you said Charlie, you and Ben got together first and started jamming, and then you slowly acquired Doobie and Chase after that. When did you guys like? So once you got all together, what was like the next step? You just started writing songs together?
Yeah, I mean, so Doobie, he moved in with Ben and I, and we had like a townhouse off campus with like a garage, and Chase lived one street over.
Oh,
so
cool.
That was before like we'd gotten into like music production or anything. So like our whole day was just plugging in and letting it rip. And yeah, and that and then it just kind of formed out of that, and then got in and like started like trying to make an EP, and then that EP got presented to like a manager, and then the manager hopped on, and then we played a show, and kind of gotten some buzz around we played like the Belmont like Battle of the Bands was like our first show basically, which is like the beginning of every year, and we won that at Belmont.
Wow.
And so, like, kind of like not put us on the map, but like it's a big thing for like the freshman class. Like it's like kind of the first week of school, and so I feel like that gave us some like cred, and like actually through that and a couple other things, like industry people started coming out to see us in Nashville, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. But,
yeah, I can imagine winning a Battle of the Bands at Belmont in Nashville. That must be like that's a big thing, you know? It's not like you won Battle of the Bands at some random college in, Idaho or something. Like to be in like the music, right, the capital of the whole country, like, and performing in a Battle of the Bands and then winning, you obviously had
especially for like
significant talent.
Yeah, that was literally the first show that us four played live together.
It was the Battle.
So we're just kind of like, oh, this is dope.
Totally. So did you guys have how did the songs come together originally? Was that with Ben, you and Charlie had lyrics or something, or like songs together?
We wrote our first song in the bell tower at Belmont. So right smack dab in the middle of campus, there's the bell tower.
Oh, wow.
Roll my amp over, and Charlie would bring his acoustic guitar, and we would just like sit there and jam.
But that's kind of how it worked out back then. Like it was kind of like we just once we learned like more about each other, the more we played with each other, like the more like collaborative everything became. To be like two of us or three of us would like sit down with like acoustic guitars late at night and try to write something, and then like try to flush it out the next day and band practice. And that's kind of how we like rolled for basically like a year. But then like a lot of the bands that we love are like Phoenix and like the 1975 and all these bands who are like really into production and like really into like getting in all these interesting sounds. And we just felt like it was just coming across more like just wasn't like representative of what we wanted to be and like who we really, really liked. And then so then that kind of took the mold of us like getting into production and starting ideas in the box on the computer, and then playing with drum loops and playing with like just different sounds and samples and stuff. So it's really progressed a lot since then. But
yeah, because I was reading that you guys would film like little acoustic videos and send them out to people. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. And you kind of got you captured someone's attention doing that, right? Somebody that like a producer or something. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Jakir. He's kind of the first person in like the industry, I guess, that really gave us a chance and gave us some attention. And yeah, we just, this was when it was just Ben and I, and we were like, had no idea how anything worked because we were probably skipping all of our music business classes, but we thought
so this is before the band had started and before you guys won that battle of the bands.
Two of us, and like we were just like, we're gonna make a band, but we don't. It's just like we haven't found the other two guys yet, and so we would like had some like acoustic videos of us playing, and we just sent them to like all of the top musical people in like the world.
We need a
like
producer because we can't
like
records,
just so like naive. Like Coldplay's producers, like, will you record with us for like $500? You know, like just
we met the guy that produced Coldplay's record and asked if he'd mix our stuff for $300. The entire
and some of them were nice. Most of them didn't get back.
Oh my god!
But anyways, we just sent some stuff, and then here King, and he did like some King, like the Kings of Leon's like big stuff, and like James Bay, a lot of that stuff. But he would just kind of responded with like, "Yo, this is like you guys have potential, so like keep recording stuff and like keep sending me stuff." You know, just was kind of like encouraging, and then it just kind of. You know, he was like, yeah, you got to get a band together. And so just even that spark, like, gave us so much, like, holy shit, this guy knows who we are. And, like, you know, like so anyway, so it was probably over, like, 2.5 years of us developing and, like, every 6 months, maybe sending them something until finally we'd, like, written this song, Coincidental, that is one of our songs that was on our last EP. That like really caught his attention, and like he invited us in, and we kind of did this EP together. And then he had just done the Kaleo record.
Oh wow!
A and B, or not the whole, but a good chunk of it. And then their manager, they became friends to that record, and then he thought that we'd be a good fit with 888 management, so kind of set us up there. And then that allowed us to. We'd already been talking with Steve-O Robertson, who's our A&R at Atlantic, but then it just became, you know, the right thing at the right time, and having the right people on our team, and yeah.
That's cool. So the guy that you sent those original videos to ended up really keeping in touch with you guys then.
Well, he produced the first kind of EP. We never really put it out as an EP, but the first like 5 songs we tracked professionally.
Yeah.
Wow. And then with so after you put that demo together, is that what you ended up sending out to people? Like, how did you get signed to Atlantic?
Yeah, that's that project that we did with Jakir. Some of the songs never came out, but that's what we showed the labels, because we did showcases out in LA and in New York.
So yeah, it was basically we recorded 5 songs with Jakir, and then he was like, I mean, kind of the simplified version of it is like, okay, if we can make something super dope together, then we can try to build a team around this. And that got us with the management. And then they kind of shopped that EP to different labels. And then Atlantic was who we ended up going with. But then when it all was said and done, we ended up only putting out like 3 songs because, that took a while to make it all happen. Then we've written better stuff since then. And yeah.
I think that was even just like a really big year for us, like in terms of where we started and where we finished that year was we had this collection of songs, which we finally got the opportunity to go record. And then once they were recorded, it got shown to a bunch of people. And then so we, signed it and did showcases. And then right after that, we went out with CAMEO on a full like US headlining tour when we were still in college. So
whoa.
Yeah. So that, I think that like in terms of just us getting like seeing really what it was all about, that was like a really good taste for just kind of like, what like where you're starting the band and then kind of like, getting on stage and seeing what CAMEO was doing in front of like 4,000 people at night kind of gave us a lot of good confidence for like, all right, we can do this.
Yeah. What year was that? Was that when they had AB out?
Yeah, this is 2017.
And we were under a completely different band name then too. We were under the name Wilder. And all that was under the band name Wilder. And then eventually just some legal stuff, we changed it to Betcha, like after all that.
Oh, okay. So you toured with them as Wilder. Yeah, because they had that. I mean, Way Down We Go is a huge hit. I remember that song was everywhere.
Yeah.
So you guys toured with them like at the right time. With that, and that was your first tour. Wow. So your first tour, you're playing for 1,000, big rooms and stuff. Aside from that tour, like what were you playing? You did that Battle of the Bands, your first show. And then were you just playing locally in Nashville?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, we eventually signed with CAA, but that didn't come into fruition for a little bit. So we had like a buddy who was helping us book like a lot of college shows. And we were just like, kind of just really just, because our first show, like we said, was Battle of the Bands, and like before all this other stuff happened, and we even recorded with Jakir. We kind of spent like 4 or 5 months like really grinding out, playing a ton of local clubs in Nashville, playing a bunch of college shows. So we probably played like 50, 60 shows or something before we went on tour with CAMEO, which was maybe like 9 months after the Battle of the Bands thing.
Wow. Did you guys end up finishing school or just said, hey, we're on Atlantic, peace?
Half and half.
Yes. Yeah. So I was actually a year ahead of them in school. And so it kind of worked out to where like I joined the band my senior year and we literally like got signed right after I graduated.
Okay.
And then Doobie finished online.
Yeah.
On tour.
Oh, really? On that CAMEO tour?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's awesome. I figured going back and you're like, well, all these people are going to school for music and songwriting and we're on a major label. I don't think we need much to learn here.
You had like a semester left.
Oh no, I did a full semester online. It wasn't very fun.
You had some dedication.
Yeah.
Ben and I jumped ship hard.
Yeah.
And we're going on tour. See you later.
Yeah. Well, Doobie, tell me about finishing a whole semester's worth of college while you're on your first tour with like CAMEO. How'd you like segregate yourself from everybody to try to like do homework?
Well, I think the biggest hurdle was I'd have a lot of conversations with my teachers. Like I would really preemptively, like once we found out about the tour, maybe like a month and a half before the next semester, I like met up with each teacher probably like 3 times. And it almost like didn't take no for an answer. Like the first time I met up with one of them, I was like, I'm gonna have to miss like half of these classes, but like, don't you see what's going on? And he's like, no, I don't.
Really?
Happen, yeah. So then I'd like I try to go to somebody like higher in the department than them, and then like say, well, you know, so and so said that it's fine, and then he'd be like, okay, well, I guess we can make an exception. So that was it. There were a couple classes where it's just like journaling, you know, here's your road experiences. So there's like some things I could say, some things I couldn't say, but it was good. I'm glad that I finished though through, because I was so close. So
yeah, totally. That's funny. That's really cool that like on your first tour, you're like, and I'm graduating college when you're done, you know? So tell me about that first tour. Did you guys have a van and like a trailer and all that stuff? Or yeah, how'd you guys do it?
We had a van. I mean, we had such little equipment back then because we just didn't
even have a trailer.
Yeah, we just stuck everything in the back.
Like one box of merch.
But it was dope. I mean, I think for that, like not only that being our first tour ever, but also being like a tour that's following 2 buses, like it's pretty crazy because I mean they can just drive through the night. So you know most drives every day were like 10 hours, you know, and like
jeez, yeah,
had to be, you know, we were going on first, and I mean it's just so funny like how oblivious we were at like the beginning of the tour. I mean like we didn't even know how to like read the call sheets because like we thought like for our first show ever we thought like load in sound check like 9 a.m. but we didn't know that was for like all like the lights and like
all the stage equipment stuff.
We were there like with them at the Wiltern in Los Angeles. Like we showed up at like literally like exhausted like at 9 a.m. and like we're so confused that we just waited around and didn't actually have to be there till like 6 p.m. or something like that. And they were just like, no, this is how like you read the call sheet, like you guys. So it was just like looking back, so funny, like how much we just didn't.
We learned a lot.
Yeah, it was like we had
learning curves, huh?
Yeah, like we'd play local shows, but like going on a big theater tour.
Yeah, and we had one of our buddies with us who like, he ended up helping us run sound later on, but he was just like our merch guy, and he had never been on, like no one in our crew had ever been on tour before. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, yeah, we were. And
that buddy is now a tour manager in the front of house.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, he learned a lot too.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. So from there, tell me about Falling. Was that much later when you recorded that?
So a couple of those songs, like Losing My Mind, Coincidental, and Same Way, were part of those 5 that we did with Takir.
Okay.
And then like California and Lucy Lucy and I Don't Want to Die were kind of like that in between phase when we were kind of still figuring stuff out, like getting into production. And then the song Falling, we felt like was kind of our first step into like who we are now and like a lot of the music we're making now. And it was the last song written for the project, like by far. Like the other ones had kind of been done and we knew we were going to put them out. So yeah, I mean, Falling for us, we wrote it with our buddy JT, who's producing an EP for us right now. But yeah, that project was kind of just like the whole transition all the way through from like old Wilder stuff to like new Betcha, basically.
Yeah.
Cool. And did you guys tour on that record as well?
Yeah, we toured Matt Mason last spring.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I know Matt Mason. Rad.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's super dope.
Was that like the whole country?
Yeah. It was like the whole.
It's like a month and a half tour, something like that.
Wow, that's rad.
Yeah, and that's the first time. I don't know if the full record was out, but I think all the songs were out for the most part.
It was out by the time we did another like headline smaller tour like in the fall.
Same
like,
venues pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of the same rooms. Like September through November. I think it was out by then.
Yeah.
Rad. So tell me about, well, you said you guys have a new EP coming out. Is that what the song July, will that be on that new EP?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about July.
Yeah. So we had July, and if that's all right, we finished our tour. I think, what's today? We finished our tour with Matt Mason exactly a year ago. Like it was like May 15th of last year.
Oh, wow.
And then we stayed in Los Angeles for like 10 days just to do a bunch of writing and collaborate with a bunch of different people. And so two of those people were Brian Phillips. He is Tim Pagnotta's engineer, but also does a lot of producing on his own. They did like the Last Coin record and like a lot of like Neon Trees stuff.
Tim Pagnotta is so rad. I mean, I loved his band Sugar Coal back in the day, but I know he's producing a lot of cool stuff, Neon Trees and Walk the Moon. But, so you got to work with him. That's rad.
We were supposed to write with Tim, and he was actually sick that day. So he had just been like, yo, I got like this younger engineer dude named Brian. He would still love to write with you guys. And so we're like, yeah, like super dope. And we went in and wrote If That's All Right with him. We had like 3 hours because we were playing a showcase that night somewhere in Los Angeles. And so like in 3 hours, we like basically wrote that whole song besides the bridge, even like the master tracking. And we're like, oh my God, this guy is like insane, like literally insane, like how talented, like a Berkeley, College of Music, just like wizard.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd written that with him. And then the next day, our A&R Stevo had set us up with this guy, Nick Furlong, who had worked on like some like earlier Blink-182 stuff and just like this super rad, super rock driven guy. And we wrote in his place, and it's kind of just written July. And both of those songs, I think on the Matt Mason tour, like a lot of our wilder stuff was more like acoustic and like folkier and singer-songwriter, and especially just coming fresh off the road, you're like, oh shit, we need a lot more like upbeat rock, like high, like songs that we really, really want to play live. Mm-hmm. And so I think the way this EP is especially shaping up, it's like a lot of these songs that we feel like are going to benefit our live show and, just make things more exciting in a sense.
Rad. That's awesome. Do you have an idea when the EP is going to come out, or did you have like a whole plan that kind of got squashed because of this whole situation?
Yeah, it's been kind of weird.
Yeah, we started producing it, or we started recording it with our buddy JT, who we did Falling with, literally like the week of when all the Corona stuff went down. And it was like literally like the week before, like it wasn't really being talked about much. And then it was just like those 72 hours, like each day, just when it got like
started closing and
30.
Oh, right.
So after 2 days, like Atlantic pulled the plug on all studio time and all like paying for anything basically.
Yeah.
But we have got a pretty sick setup here at our house. We all live together and have like a basement that we, learned to produce in over the past couple of years. So with JT, we've kind of been doing it remotely and have already finished one song.
Rad.
Another one. And so that's just how it's going right now. But I think we're hoping to get together, when the timing is right, when it feels safe.
Yeah. Like our older stuff was like the Falling EP is a collection of songs that are like span back to like 4 to 5 years ago, and they were written. And so with this EP, we're trying to make just the turnarounds a little quicker for just like trying to get all these songs out like every month and a half to 2 months, dropping another song, just to kind of like keep people engaged and just like really make it feel like people are going on a journey along with us, where it's as opposed to kind of the much older stuff that's like, okay, here's a song from 3 years ago that's really special to us. We're like, we can finally be like, here's a song we're still really excited about right now. And like, so that's been cool for us.
Yeah.
Nice. And then I did see one of your posts about Club Quarantine's hottest new track, which is like a remix version of one of your songs. Like, are you guys?
Yeah,
like, that's fun. Like, how did you get that remix done? Somebody just did it for you guys, or?
At Atlantic, Diamond Eyes. I think I don't know if he's on Atlantic, but there's like remix people at the label and we just thought it'd be a really cool opportunity with that song. So they just pitched us a bunch of different DJs, and his stuff was super, super sick. So
that's rad. Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was really cool. Are you guys doing anything else as far as, I mean, at least you're all together. You said you can write, but are you guys doing like the live streams or anything like that?
Yeah, we're big on we have a little show called Betcha Live at 9 that we do like once a week.
Oh, really? And that's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's kind of like stuff.
Sketch comedy a little bit.
It's sketchy.
A couple acoustic songs, you know.
Do you know what hot takes are?
Hot takes?
Yeah, like a hot take.
Like a hot take, you know, a spoon or a fork for mac and cheese. You know,
and then we get
it's like a controversial.
It's just
topic.
a debate.
A debate. You debate.
You pick something that people have different opinions.
Oh, okay. So like mac and cheese, spoon or fork, and then you go back and forth.
Or just like, you make a statement. Maybe it's ridiculous. Maybe it's not. But then,
But we take it to like an aggressive, like passionate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And you do these, you said once a week?
Once or twice a week,
Pretty
yeah.
much, yeah.
I mean, with all the quarantine stuff going on, like all of our opportunities to like go live on other I mean, especially at the start, we felt like we were going live on somebody's Instagram like every day. It's kind of calmed down a little bit, but just when it feels right, we kind of
hop on there. That's cool. Have you had a chance to like, play some of the newer songs maybe you don't have recorded or people haven't heard to kind of feel people out on them?
Yeah, I mean, especially because we've done so many of them and we don't like repeating stuff. So we felt like before we were very, very secretive of like new songs and like wouldn't want to like share anything and like very protective of like even like our demos on Dropbox. And now in like quarantine, we're like, screw it. Listen to
release it all.
We wrote this morning. Like,
that's awesome. That's really cool. Well, I can't wait to hear the full EP. I've checked out July and the other songs that you guys have released. I love it. It's awesome. That's really exciting. And hopefully this quarantine will lift soon and everybody can get back to touring and all that fun stuff. But,
we hope to make it to San Diego for sure. We love San Diego.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, I know. I can't wait to see you guys when you come back here. Maybe you'll be playing Calcos again on a headlining tour.
So
you never know.
It happened.
Yeah.
Right on, guys. Well, I have one more question for you. I want to see if I can get an answer from all of you individually. I want to know if you guys have any advice for aspiring artists.
for sure. I'm trying to think because I would say get out and jam with as many people and start playing shows, but
from 6 feet away.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think my biggest advice is like, I mean, that's true. I mean, even in quarantine, you can do it, but just find people that like you even want to collaborate or people who are interested in the same thing as you, because even like with me, like I've learned like through even production and like instrumentally, like just being surrounded by people who can push you and like, you know, you want to stay on the same level as them. Like it'll just make you better surrounding yourself with people that that's mine.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's probably just not quitting. There's really something to say about like, I mean, everyone has faced hurdles, and like, even for us, I think we had such a strong trajectory at the start and then faced a lot of hurdles with like a name change, and Charlie had back surgery, and now we have coronavirus, like totally cutting this off. And like, we're hearing stuff about like a lot of people saying how a lot of bands are going to die out just because it's you know, financially and like musically just hard to do right now. But I think for us, it's just been like finding different ways to overcome hurdles and just to stay positive and stay motivated on kind of your, just like your end goal, and like on the daily, just kind of getting re-inspired for just doing what you love and kind of just not giving up on the dream. So don't give up, kids. Don't give up on your dream.
Yeah. Mine's really simple. Trust your instincts. I'm sorry. It sounds good to you. It sounds good. Trust your instincts. Don't overthink it. That's something we've done a lot in the past, and I feel like we're getting way better at it. Like, you know, just go with your gut.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, trust your gut, and like if it makes you feel good, like it's probably gonna make someone else feel good too. But I guess you could just expand that on like, I don't know.
I like that, Chase.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like kind of lost. You threw me off so hard.
I'm sorry. I feel like I knew you were going to say that.
I felt like it was like I had an aura of it coming off. No, but yeah, I mean, you know, if you find what feels good, just like double down on it, and you know, but like, because no one cares if you sound exactly like, you know, the Rolling Stones, because there's already a Rolling Stones. But like, we like a bunch of different kinds of music, so we make songs all the time that we would never put out as Betcha, but it's cool in the moment. And you know, there's something to be said for still doing that kind of exercise, just kind of like in the moment. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
Bring me with that word.